What's going on, y'all? All right, here's the timing. We're to that point now. See if I can get in there. All right. See how them lines are off a little bit? Now, this bar right here has it exactly where it needs to be. Like I said in the previous video, they got little holes in top of the camshafts. A lot of people do different stuff with different types of tools to use that, but that Daryl Cox Racing, made for it. All right, and then we got a little tensioner down there. I'll show y'all how to do in a second. It's kind of a pain in the butt because you ain't really got all that much room unless you move the motor to the side. All right, now we're gonna find TDC. So down here, there's a little mark right there, that little arrow, and then you got the arrow right here. You kind of want to trail it just a little bit in front of it, and when you turn this, don't go counterclockwise, you go clockwise towards the front of the car. Just keep from damaging the motor and everything. All right, so let me get it to top dead center. Forgot to add, I usually stick a screwdriver in there and just keep turning until it stops and just about to start going back down. You know you're right at TDC. They got special tools and stuff you can put on there, but we're doing this stuff in the garage. All right. Let's see if you can see. So that looks about right there. Just trailing it just a little bit. That should give you your TDC. All right, so usually timing belt, it seems to work a whole lot easier when they're warm. So you can leave it out in the sunlight or put a heat gun to it. Just, I would be very careful when you use the heat gun because you don't want to mess up your brand new timing belt. So I'll slap this belt on. Did forget to mention, you can torque your camshaft bolts down 85 foot-pounds of Torx, but don't take my word for it. Do Google. That's what we found. Because we are not certified mechanics, so we are not responsible for any damages. All right, so if you look in the sight glass here, that is the mechanical timing tensioner. There is a spot for your 1/4-inch ratchet. You can move clockwise or counterclockwise, and it'll move it back and forth. That's kind of hard to see. But basically you want that pin to sit to the big side of that groove up top, and then on the bottom, which I'll show you on the computer, these grooves right here on the bottom, you basically want that pin in the center. When you get it close, there's a 13 on there that you tighten up a little bit. You don't want to tighten it too tight because you won't be able to move it. So you just tighten it enough where it'll stay when you let go, because if not, it'll bounce back around. So line these two up here, and then that groove is right here. So this pin will drop this way, and then these will come this way. And as long as that pin's center, you're good. But here's the instructions, just in case I'm not being very clear. All right, so here we have our timing marks. See, they're not directly across from one another, maybe a little less than half a tooth, but that bar really helps, or comes in handy. And then the mark down here, let's see if I can get that with be almost, there we go. You line that up there. Once you're done, tighten everything up, you rotate it clockwise and make sure everything's good. So far we're getting there. Oh, and the torque for the tensioner pulley or the idler pulley, I'm sorry, is 45 foot-pounds of torque. But then again, Google, make sure. All right, so I forgot to mention, the cam alignment tool for this was originally for a 420A Eclipse. And we were just curious to see if it did fit, which surprisingly it did. So if you have one of those and you happen to have a 420A Eclipse, you can use it. All right, so checked everything. Timing marks are good. Let's see, so you can go. And then those are the two holes right there. That was underneath that DCR bracket. It's top dead center. Everything looks good. There's no slack or anything in the, yeah, everything's tight. So that's pretty much it for the timing. Now all we got to do is put all that crap back on the side of it. So you got any questions, just leave them in the comments and I'll try to answer them the best I can.